Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So how do you usually practice to playing a keyboard?
I usually practice with my teacher in my home.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
MTsB,
Kita nih cakep.
hello everyone. Welcome back on MTsB channel with me Mirwana Aqilla as a host and my friend Lintang as a respondent. We, as a representative from 9.4 class, will accompany you in discussing a topic about a good and an effective learning process. Before we start, learning is important, right? As you know, that we are still at the first level of education, so there needs to be a good and correct way of learning. According to Lintang, what is a good and effective way of learning? Is it like studying for hours without stopping?
Okay, that's a good question. Many people misunderstanding from studying. Studying is a way for us to understand a lesson. Well, the way to understand lesson each person is different. In my opinion, there is no need to study for hours to understand a lesson that taught at school. It is enough to study for 1 hour and the maximum is 2 hours. But in those 2 until 2 hours, we maximize the potential of our brain to be able to understand the lesson that taught at school. And after 1 until 2 hours, we can break by drinking water or eating some snacks or eating something, and it makes our brain fresh again. And then we can continue to study until the time you want or not. This is more effective than having study for hours.
Okay, then, is it okay for us to play with cell phones during breaks or even break time that exceeds study hours?
I think it's okay to play smartphones during breaks, but however, not everyone has a strong memory. That's why I don't recommend to play smartphone during breaks, because people who don't have strong memory can forget it in an instant.
I see. So it's better not to play with cell phones, right?
Yep.
Okay, then, is it only necessary to study so that our learning process becomes good?
Of course not. We are human. We definitely need adequate rest. Therefore, earlier, I suggest that not to study too long and make body sick and be stressed. A minimum of a teenager or adult rest is 6 hours. Therefore, the body can be healthy and not sick. And don't forget to admit the healthy diet so you can study and move well.
Oh wow! It turns out that that resting is also necessary. But what if you have studied as you suggested, but instead stay up late?
I think it's better not to study because it's just torturing yourself.
I have another question. So I've been wondering how you can manage your time so that you can have a good score in exam. Maybe is there any suggested on those 2 hours so that you understand the lesson being taught?
Personally, I summed it up. I summarize the important things that needs to be learned. For example, in the textbook chapter 1, I summarize the lesson that needs to be learned. And the writing doesn't need to be exactly the same as in the book, because if it's the same, it's not summarizing, it's just rewriting. And then how to do the summarize, it's according to your taste. You can decorate your summarize, or maybe write it with colorfully, or maybe write it with plain black. And then, because writing, it's like we are reading a book 3 times.
What does it mean that writing is the same as reading a book 3 times?
The point is, when you want to write the summary, first you must read the reading, and then you write the writing, but subconsciously you read it with silently in our heart, right? And then after that, of course, you will check the writing again whether there are errors or not.
Okay, so that's it. Well, I think Lintang's advice is very good because it not only gives advice on how to study well, but it also tells us to take a rest sometimes so that our body not easy to get sick and we can maintain our health. This has covered all the important points. Alright? Thanks to Lintang for giving good advice. I'm sure it will be helping other people including me. Thank you very much for watching our podcast. We're sorry if we have a wrong pronunciation in our conversation. The end.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.